Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So I've had a look at the handicap marks, and interestingly this week there are 4 that have actually gone up in the handicap that I think are very interesting going forward. Start off with one of those, who's Sweet William. Now, he won over 2 mile in a Class 2 handicap, the Mattel handicap at Newbury, and how impressive was he? He was so impressive. He went up £7 to 95, and to be honest, I don't think that's enough. I think this horse is clearly incredibly well handicapped, or very, very progressive, and still very well handicapped. He's a 100+ horse, isn't he? I think any race he ran over 2 mile off 95, I think he would actually take all of the beating. I do think they might drop him back to 1.6 and go for the Ebor. You know, the prize money is very tempting, isn't it? I just think sometimes, even when you get a really well handicapped horse, the Ebor can play. It can be it's a really tricky race to win, isn't it? Because so many horses have been aimed at it and plotted for it, and there's going to be loads of really well handicapped horses in that race. If, as I think he will, he drops back to the Ebor and doesn't win, don't give up on him. Especially if they then go, okay, let's go back up in trip, go to the Cesarewitch, a 2 mile 2 race at Newmarket, and I think he'll win that. I really do. I think he would win the Cesarewitch. But I imagine we'll see him next in the Ebor on the 26th of August. I don't know whether I'll be selecting him just yet, but he's definitely one for 2.5 mile or 2 mile plus. Later on in the season, the Cesarewitch. They might go for the Cesarewitch trial, but to be honest, I think that would be a waste. He would win the trial and not get a lot of prize money and actually go up in the handicap. What's the point? Go and target another feature handicap with him. Second horse I want to talk about also went up in the weights. That was Chillingham. He went up £2 to 99 for his second placed effort in the Bell Ringer at Ripon. He should have won that. The jockey allowed the others to get going and just left it too late to actually make his move. If he had kicked on and gone clear, it just puts doubt into the other jockeys' minds as well that, oh no, we're not going to catch him. And they don't give it everything. Whereas they thought, I'm still in contention, I'm still trying. Whereas the jockey on Chillingham is just sitting there quietly. And then he left it too late. I think if the jockey could do it again, he would win the race. He would go a little bit earlier. But going up £2, they can certainly win another race of a similar standard. And having come down to Ascot and finished 4th, you can see majority of their races have been up north at Thirsk and at Ripon. And I think that's where they should stay. So they should stay up north in these races that generally you don't find the best horses, in my opinion. Go to Hamilton, go for this Silver Bell, the Lanark Silver Bell. It's a feature heritage handicap at Hamilton on the 25th of August, over 1.5 miles. He would get in nicely, and I think he would take all of the beating. I think he's one of the best handicapped Northern Raiders at the moment. And yeah, I would be very, very confident of a huge run from Chillingham in the Silver Bell. So as you know, we have added these horses to our NAGMEs, so we could go back and add some further notes to them. So Sweet William, for example, we could add now that Ebor, then Cesarewitch. Potentially create NAGME. Now Chillingham is already done, so what we could do there is we could just add an extra note here. I said going up £3, he went up £2. We could go Silver Bell, Hamilton, and we will update that one. So now I've got a bit more notes on that. Let's move on to the next horse, who caught my eye. Didn't really catch my eye in effect, but has been dropped £1 to 87. Obviously, we were quite keen on Nathaniel Green at... or Nathaniel... It's not Nathaniel, is it? It's Nathaniel Green. Dropped £1 to 87. He's finished 7th. He finished 4th in the Northumberland Plate. I don't think he wants a drop in trip. Oh, actually, I do think he wants a drop in trip. And I just wonder whether he doesn't quite finish his race off over 2 mile. Although he was finishing it at Newcastle, that is a 2 mile on the all-weather, as I always say, doesn't work out to be 2 mile on the turf. It's a slight drop back in trip. And the way he was ridden, allowed him to be finishing best of all. He was given such a quiet ride up to the last half mile. So where do I think they can go with him? Well, drop him back to 1 mile and 6, go to Haydock. Look, we've got a Haydock run here, over 1 mile and 6 on soft ground, and he won. Well, is there a 1 mile and 6 handicap at Haydock? On Saturday the 9th of September, there is this 1 mile and 6 Old Borough handicap. I mean, that looks obvious to me. Why would... Surely that's where Nathaniel Green turns up next, in the Old Borough Cup. It's good prize money, and I think he would go really, really close there. I think the drop back and trip might be key to him really finishing his races strongly. So he's an interesting one, dropping £1 to 87. The next horse that caught my eye was Stone of Destiny, who, as I highlighted in my review video, just hates soft ground. And yet they ran him on it. He doesn't want soft ground. He wants good ground, good to firm ground even. And hopefully they can find a race for him where he gets that. One that I think I'm hoping they might be able to is on Friday the 25th of August. So at the end of the summer, there's this 5 furlong handicap for horses rated 51 to 70. Well, he's dropped £1 to 69, so he can run in this class again. It's over 5, which I think really suits him. If you watch his race over Doncaster, over 5 furlongs and 143 yards, he was bang there right until the very finish. Drop him back to 5, no further. Put him on better ground. Hopefully he'll get better ground. And I think he can go well. I know he's had a lot of races at Goodwood. And sometimes you look at him and go, well, they're not that great. 4th, 12th, 6th, 2nd, 23rd, that was in the Stewards Cup. 8th, that was in the Stewards Cup. There's a couple of good races in there, listed races, Stewards Cups. I mean, this is not a Stewards Cup, is it? It's a Class 5 handicap. His form at Goodwood was good enough to suggest that he does handle the track. And yeah, I'd be really confident of a huge run if he turned up on the Friday the 25th of August and it was good ground or better. I'd be backing him again. You know, I didn't back him on Saturday because it was soft ground. He doesn't want soft ground. And it's surprising that with this owner that they haven't managed to get a win into the horse yet, because he's meant to be an analyst or a tipster or something like that, and yet he looks to have been running him on all the wrong races, personally. I think he's had one race where he's actually been in the right race, and that was here when he was 4th. The rest of the time, you know, they're getting him down to a basement mark, but sometimes if they lose their form and lose confidence, they end up then not running well when they should do. So, 3 more to go. Moving on to the next one. Yukon Glen, I don't think he stays 2 mile. You can see that they generally, they switch around with his trips, don't they? But the best trip for him, in my opinion, is 1 mile and 5, 1 mile and 6. And he ran really well at Ayr. When he was 4th, he was on the wrong side. He ran well at Musselburgh when he was 4th in the Summer Cup? Queen's Cup, I think that's called. He ran a great race at Haydock last year in September over 1 mile and 6. And he also ran really well in July at the Goodwood Festival over 1 mile and 6. This was the race here. You can see he was 3rd behind Trawlerman and Badge d'Or. Trawlerman obviously went on to win the Ebor, and Badge d'Or came into the race in great form, 2 seconds and 2 wins to his name. If Yukon Glen runs in this summer handicap, he would run off a £6 lower mark than when 3rd to those two. I'm hoping that's why they ran at Newbury, was to get another couple of pound off. I'd be really confident if they get good ground or good to firm ground at Goodwood and he gets a clear run. I think he'll go very, very close, even at the ripe of age of 10. So hopefully he runs at Goodwood next. It will be 14 days after his last run, which I think is enough time. 2 more that I want to talk about. Both ran over hurdles. Just quickly, Nadeem went up £6 for his win, which was a little bit higher than I thought, considering he didn't win by far, but he won cosily. Go back and watch the race. He is much the best. Didn't get out until really late. Eventually got a clear run and finished off and won going away. I said in my review video he could have done the whole Jamie Spencer Sariska wave as he went past. Actually, that wasn't about Nadeem. That was about Born Famous, wasn't it? Harry Cobden. But Nadeem did something very similar. He would have won, really comfortably. Since moving, changing owners, you can see that he's won his last two. I think off a £6 high mark, 95. He can certainly win again. I don't know where they go, but he's one that I'm interested in going forward. And the last one is Uggy, who with a better ride, would have won at Cartmel, even on the heavy ground. When it comes back to good ground, anywhere over 2.5, up to 2.5 miles, he'll be very interesting in a similar race to what he ran in, or a similar class race. It doesn't have to be a female only jockey's race, but the similar class of race is where they should be looking with Uggy. So there's some thoughts on a few. There's what was there? 4 that actually went up there, and only 3 that went down. Normally it's the other way around, or normally I don't find any that go up in the weights that interest me. But I thought there was a few this week that were winning or running well, where they could continue massively progressing. Of these, who do I like the most? Well, You Can Glen definitely for that summer handicap, even at his age of 10. And if Stone of Destiny gets in at Goodwood on 25th of August on good ground, I'll be very, very confident of a big run there. Thanks for listening. As always, likes and comments and retweets are always appreciated. Do let us know what you think of these videos, and whether we should, how we can improve them and how we can be more engaging for you guys. Thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of your week.